Hello everyone. Welcome back to FPL Jedi Show. This is FPL Gameweek 1 stream. My name is Hafiz and I would like to welcome Azmin to the stream. FPS is definitely back. This is Gameweek 1. How's our feeling, man?
Oh, it's pretty good. I think one of the biggest markers saying that FPL is back when players just start getting injured. You had Madison down for 6-7 months, and then Rogers giving us a scare with a knock. All this goes to show that FPL is truly back, and we need to be ready coming.
Yep, pretty excited. I think it's been a while since we live stream and I can show you finally in the short while that the FPL Game Week 1 is really back. We are catching up in terms of team news and so on. So if definitely our team is shaping up with the Community Shield happened yesterday. I think that's the first indication that we are into the mood already, and we decided to go early stream this week on Monday, fresh up from the last Community Shield. We were going to talk about that, and pretty much that is the main talking points that we can discuss tonight, right, Min?
Yep, and also the fact the decision to go a bit early is also to the fact that it's a early deadline Friday night match. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of news now. I think all the preseason matches are completed. So let's see what we can get out of it, and as we prepare our teams for the game week 1.
All right. Hi, Alex B. He mentioned no audio, guys. Okay. But I think
You can't hear audio.
I think we can hear each other.
Let
So I
me
hope.
let me test on my phone whether or not there's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should be okay.
Let me test on my phone whether or not. Oh, yep. On my
Yeah.
phone seems to be okay. Alex, you maybe want to try rebooting? It seems to
All
be
right.
okay.
All right. Good stuff. I
Okay.
think
Yeah, Alex, you maybe want
it's
to
fine.
try.
Yep. Honomoto. Yeah. Thanks for that feedback. Hope we can continue back our stream. I think the most important things that we will discuss the talking point. We'll talk about the Community Shield lineup. Okay, just in the set. We also want to touch on the players on form in terms of preseason. So whether those matches or whoever performed during preseason can take into account when we build up our team for game week 1, the fixture ticker, who teams to target, the players and so on, the game week 1 fixtures, the captain pick, and definitely our team draft for game week 1. All right, team main, let's jump to it straight away. The Community Shield match, all eyes on Crystal Palace and Liverpool lineup. I'm not sure about the rest. Definitely for myself, I'm looking forward to this lineup. What kind of, especially on the Liverpool side, because you're thinking whether you want to double up or triple up, okay? Because we know Liverpool has been buying a lot of new players coming in. I think 4 players are integrated into the new team right now. The likes of Frimpong, Kirkers, I think the Florian Wirtz, and also the new link signing of Ekitike up front for Liverpool. As you can see on the right side, I think pretty much this is the lineup fielded yesterday. Alisson in goal, Frimpong and Kirkers on the wings, Konate and Van Dijk definitely on the centre back. Jones and Soboslai was made known that Gravenberg was given leave because is it his wife actually you're on mute, Min. Give him and then Mo Salah, Wirtz, Gakpo, and then Ekitike up front for Liverpool. Pretty much this. What do you think? This could be the strongest lineup that Liverpool should be able to field. What do you think?
Yeah, because McAllister didn't start and Gravenberg was not around. So was unavailable. So we could still see some shift in terms of the lineup. Wirtz and uh, Wirtz and Zoboslai. I'm not sure whether or not it's having them both there. And when you look at Wirtz, Zoboslai, and Jones, effectively there's no real defensive midfielder there. Yeah, so Jones and Zoboslai both very box to box. So someone like McAllister as well as Gravenberg there, they're not there. So we can't. As much as it was beautiful to watch at the early stages, and it was clear that once Crystal Palace started getting the impetus, the midfield looked a bit unstable as well. But the front four that does look like it's going to be the strongest lineup for a while. We've lost. The latest sale was Darwin Nunes has been also sold to Al Hilal. So we actually short, of course, Jota passing away, and Diaz also going to Bayern Munich, and so that's 3. And in place we got 2, Wirtz, Ekitike. So we are a bit short there. Obviously, we got the youngster Rio and Chiesa, who looks like he's going away as well. Yeah. So, but these are strong. We do have strong players, but we need to stabilize the midfield a bit. On the Palace side, they're pretty much fielding almost the same lineup that they've been fielding towards the end of last season. So really, really good, strong team. So not much changes, and of course, the Community Shield match reminded me of how much I loved Dean Henderson. Always thought he was a quality player, and he proved to be pivotal in the triumph of Crystal Palace over Liverpool in the Community Shield match. So well done to Palace, and congratulations if you're a Palace fan.
All right, I think we deep dive a bit. The result, at least before the penalty, end up with 2-2. You can see the Ekitike scored for Liverpool. I think that's the early goal on the 4th minute, something like that. Assist by Wirtz. So I think we can see that those 2 new players, if you're thinking whether this they can perform, you can see the Ekitike and Wirtz already done that. And then Frimpong, another new signing, scored 2-1 up and assisted by Soboslai. So if let's say Gravenberg is available or McAllister, I think the one changes maybe you could see is in the 2 midfield up after Konate and Vinder, Jones and Soboslai, or maybe McAllister and Gravenberg. I think those could be the rotating pairs. But Salah, Wirtz, Gakpo, and Ekitike, I do believe they are the front four that Liverpool going to continue at least for the few weeks. What do you think, mate?
Yes. So the player most likely to give way, sadly enough, but no choice, is Zoboslai, because Zoboslai is the one who's been playing in Wirtz's current position. So he's not a proper defensive midfielder, but he does run his socks off. But he's not in that same caliber in terms of defense compared to McAllister and even Gravenberg, especially Gravenberg as well. So I do think that in the end, Jones will get back onto the sub again, and McAllister and Gravenberg will start in that central midfield.
All right. And touch base on Palace, I think Mateta, later we take a look, a bit spoiler, Mateta is really on form in terms of pre-season. If you want to count Community Shield, is part of pre-season. He scored a goal through penalty, not Eze who took that penalty, Mateta was, and is from Sa assist because Van Dijk tackle Sa in the penalty box, and then Sa pop up with the goal from Watton assist. So Sa, Eze, Mateta continue to get our attention. Those are the players if you're thinking to get any Palace assets. Sa, Mateta maybe not so much, but Eze still, but they are not involved in Crystal Palace. In terms of Palace asset, if you're thinking to bring into Gameweek 1 team, who interests you, me?
If anything, this Community Shield reminded me of picking up Crystal Palace is Munoz, who I totally missed out having him, even considering him during the draft until I saw him in the starting lineup. Oh my goodness, definitely worthy consideration. 5.5. Obviously still attacking, very attacking. So of course he flies into the face of the DEFCON type defender. So but I'm still of the belief at the moment that attacking defenders is still have the better weight and advantage over DEFCON eccentric players.
Amazing. We are going to start talk about the defensive contribution points and so on. I'm still getting used to it, but I will show you some stats, including defensive contribution, if you want to say, from this match. Just take a quick view in terms of statistic from that match. All this statistic is from Fantasy Football Scout members area. So if you're interested to look at that, please join the members area for Fantasy Football Scout. As you can see, in terms of goal attempts there, Ekitike and AZ, I can say there, and another Mateta attempts total 3. So you can see there, Ekitike up there, total shots 3, inside the box 2, and you also have the highest big chance with 2. So pretty much you're thinking about Ekitike, he's performed in these stats, at least in terms he also scored a goal. AZ and Mateta, 3 each, and then all Mateta is inside the box. Frimpong also in the mix in terms of attempts, 2 attempts, and also we can see that it's from inside the box. So Frimpong has a high in terms of eye test. It might be a better one compared to Kirkus, but Kirkus still there at the bottom in the top 10 here. Other than that, Gakpo maybe another one that you can see, but another eyes that we can see there, Ismail Sarr. He has 5 penalty touch, 2 attempts, and all inside the box in terms of goal attempts. But in terms of creativity or distribution, you can see there in terms of chance created, at the top is Florian Wirtz. People and managers already talking about potentially Wirtz is the season keeper. 8.5 is too cheap for him. Underpriced and so on. He can show it now that he can be the main man for Liverpool. He also on corner kick duty, if I'm right. Despite he got a yellow card, he's all over the place for Liverpool. And at the same time, he produced an assist for Ekitike. So what do you think means in terms of attempts and distribution?
Oh, it's really great. Obviously, in terms of FPL terms, we only got an assist out of Wirtz, but it's looking really good, and I'm really, really happy with him. And he's worth the value, so far from what we've seen. But I am a bit concerned in terms of whether he'll be roughed out by the more physical sides. But we'll see as we go along. But definitely, even though Wirtz isn't turning up in terms of that goal attempts, but he's definitely one to watch. Ekitike is the thing with Ekitike is he wasn't really being considered seriously by many. Probably whether it's because of the uncertainty whether he will be the first choice, or will they bring in another forward that he's going to be the backup. But he has staked his claim to go ahead. I want that starting spot, and he definitely made it happen. Obviously, he got subbed out, so that's something we'll have to wait. We'll have to see how we go along. But I'm not too worried about in terms of minutes at the moment, given that our team is slightly stretched. Yeah, so I think we might be a good point, even although he is a bit expensive for a new guy coming in as a striker. So I don't have him. I don't know if you're considering having him, because I even though Wirtz didn't have any goal attempts, but didn't have a lot of goal attempts, but I'm still going for Wirtz actually.
8.5, both of them are priced. So interesting if let's say you're thinking whether you want to put your money upfront or in the midfield with Salah. But I would like to welcome Afosz to the stream finally. Thank you for joining the stream. Can you hear us, Afosz?
Afosz.
Yep. Loud and clear.
Right.
Nice.
Welcome, Afosz. So we are discussing about FPL Gameweek 1 Community Shield match. Some stats here from Fantasy Football Scout. I'm not sure whether you watched the match yesterday, but in terms of stats here, Ekitike and Wirtz among the top in terms of goal attempts and also chances created. Is this the player that you are eyeing in terms of building your Gameweek 1 team, Afosz?
So far, no, not at the moment, because obviously it will feel like still have Salah, the usual FPL king for the past 8 seasons. But I think Community Shield result wise, Ekitike and also Wirtz and Frimpong proves that they are one of the options to pick per se. So at the moment, not at the moment, but we'll see how things goes for this new upcoming season.
I'll share you next stats where you could actually think where the words could be a potential, because we are talking about now DEFCON or defensive contribution. You can see there in terms of defensive contribution, okay, Will Hughes top, but second is Wirtz with total defensive contributions 10. So he missed out because in midfield you need 12 like the defensive contribution to get that 2 points. So he missed out a bit in terms of another 2 contribution DC if you got it, and then you can get that 2 points. But Wirtz can be a nice option. He's on corner kick duties. He also potentially can give you high chance in terms of chances created. So kind of enticed in terms of Wirtz, 8.5 million. What do you mean? Looking at now defensive contribution, another factor you could count in.
It's a good factor, but you know what? I don't like it. I don't want Wirtz to be spending more time in defense, doing his defensive contribution. I want him to be assisting and scoring goals. Because that's not at that price, that's not what I pay him for. It's a nice side benefit as well, but at the end of the day, that's not what I want. When I look at someone like Wirtz attacking a midfielder, very attacking midfielder, I want him to focus on his attack and not so much in terms of this DEFCON thing. So hopefully later, when the season kicks off and Gravenberch and McAllister are back, so they will be the ones who contribute a lot in terms of that, so that freeing him up, so that he, so that instead of giving DEFCON points, I get assists and goals. And when you look at that midfield, who's the next midfielder contributing defensive is Szoboszlai at 6. So so it's very drastic in terms of the gap between the contributions, which shouldn't be the case. And then Crystal Palace side, Hughes. Yep, Hughes. That's his job. He's breaking up play as a Crystal Palace defensive midfielder. So yeah, that's exactly what he's supposed to do. Yeah. So yeah, it's nice, but no, I don't. Not what I bought him for.
All right. I go to Afosz because we have not spoken in terms of how he views this defensive contribution. As you can see, there's some stats here. The likes of Konato, Munoz there, who can be the guy that getting you those. For defenders, you just need only 10 DC and then you get that 2 points. So Munoz is somewhere in the mix. He also has some attacking potential. Afosz, what do you think in terms of DC? Is this something that you have to view things differently right now in terms of defense or midfield?
Yeah, but I kind of have the same perspective or the view like Azmin. I understand like the likes of Hughes, Konate, Munoz, whatnot is it's kind of their job to have that defensive contributions in terms of blocking, clearance, and things. But for Wirtz, I think most of us, or maybe like Liverpool fans, kind of expecting him to be more attacking in terms of producing assists and scoring rather than having that playing defensive role. So, but the rest of the other players who what do you call performs or playing that defensive role, yeah, we can rather focus on those players like center backs, defensive midfields, but not wingers or attackers per se, that we want to have that kind of defensive contributions result. So we would rather have assists and goals.
Yeah. 1 assist, 3 points.
Yeah.
12 defensive contribution, 2 points.
Right. So basically, I think Azmin and Afosz kind of agree that our focus should be the bread and butter, goal, assist, and clean sheet, instead of focusing so much on these DC points. All right. So at least DC point is just a side points that should not be your main concentration when picking players. I think that's what Azmin and Afosz are trying to summarize. All right, enough about Community Shield match. We already ran some stats. Why not we go next in terms of some preseason matches, who's are performed right now. At least we can see some of the players that may be going into our consideration before we look at our team. So this a bit in terms of preseason matches that happen. I think maybe there are some matches will happen this week. Maybe 1 or 2 match more for some of the teams, but we can see there in terms of players performing right now. I think on the top right now is Watkins with 5 goals and 1 assist. Those are the players that people are looking at right now. Harry Wilson from Fulham also have some decent preseason matches with 5 goals and 1 assist, but I'm not sure whether we are going there. I think if you want to count Mateta goals in Community Shield, so Mateta could actually be in here in terms of 5 goals and 1 assist, but he's also among the top in terms of performing this preseason. Gakpo also with 4 goals and 1 assist. Darwin Núñez already left, so he's not in this list. If not, he also have some decent form in terms of preseason, at least in goals and assists. Other than that, going down a bit, Welbeck and Pirro from Leeds United with 4 goals, if you're looking at some cheap enabler up front. But after that, Bruno Fernandes with 3 goals and 1 assist. I think this is one of the assets people are looking at also from Manchester United. United already have 3 new up front in terms of Mbomo, Tuna, and also Sesko newly signed up. But I'm not sure whether Sesko already has his price tag revealed from FPL. I don't think so. I'm predicting it's around 8.5, same like the players that we are facing right now in terms of FPL. Other than that, Jacob Murphy with 3 goals and 1 assist. I think Mellon from Villa is another enabler that people look at. 2 goals and 3 assists. After that, Ayari from Brighton, Bowen and Paqueta with 2 goals and 2 assists each. So from this preseason top performer, I go to Azmin first. Who do you think that from this form that you are thinking this could be a concentration into your team?
Mateta, I think definitely is someone that we need to see if he's going to push on. Obviously, Crystal Palace, not much has changed, so they are, looking good. Their team has kept this roughly the same spine of the team, pretty much the same. So if you're going to look at consistency, then Mateta is probably one of the more confident players, confident for you to start. No issues about starting. Nketiah is injured, I think, as well. So pretty much Mateta's locked it out. The problem with Crystal Palace now is that if you guys have read, is that they've lost the appeal to do the Europa League, so they have to do the conference, which means now they've got 2 qualifying matches between Game Week 1 and 2 and Game Week 2 and 3. But I think the opposition's not gonna be probably not gonna field a full strength team against those teams. I don't think it's gonna be a problem. So I think most of us were not really considering Crystal Palace assets because the fixtures was not that great. But it really is just Chelsea, and even Chelsea are not exactly valuable. Chelsea themselves now, they've got some injuries as well. Colwell's out, so then it becomes a suspicious issue. Brandon, just now, sorry, you mentioned Bowen. Yes. So Bowen is someone that I haven't really paid much attention to, but and especially after he got reclassified as a forward. But looking at the other options in terms of striker, Bowen, aside from Watkins, Bowen seems to be the only one that, who you can be assured that he will contribute. He's the man for his team. And the preseason notwithstanding, 2 goals to assist is still decent, but hopefully this full season under Graham Potter that they'll push on and actually do well with a Graham Potter system.
Yeah, and also West Ham have some excellent match, at least for Game 1. Later we look at that. So Bowen could be one of your potential player to get in for Game 1. I go to Afosz from these stats, goals and assists. Who you eyeing? Maybe this preseason performance also play into your mind when picking a player, right?
Okay. First thing, I just checked the website, the FPL website, and Sesko is already in, price at 7.5.
7.5.
7.5.
Wow.
Yep.
Oi, murah. Yum.
Wow.
To me, his price point is pretty decent, especially if provided that you can perform well, and he also can prove himself to be the striker for the club. So if he's doing well for the club, 7.5 is pretty much cheap, I would say. So yeah.
So Sesko price the same as Mateta, João Pedro, Chris Wood. So they are fighting in that price bracket.
Gakpo.
Yep.
Gakpo. Yep. So that's for Sesko. But in terms of top performance for preseason friendlies, I might on Watkins, but Watkins also Mateta. Like I think previously you guys mentioned Crystal Palace is because of the fixtures. Other than that, I also like Bowen. Bowen has good fixtures, but I'm not sure whether 8.0 is. I think 8.0 for Bowen is pretty bit
Since
expensive.
Afosz already talked about fixture, I'll just show you this fixture ticker so easier for us to share.
Yeah.
You mentioned about West Ham. So West Ham is somewhere at the top 5. Sunderland first match, then Chelsea, and then Forest, Spurs, Crystal Palace, and Everton. So yeah, at least first game week, the most important thing can give you some option, right?
Yeah. Then when looking at these fixtures, the top 3 Aston Villa, Watkins capable doing. So I think he's the one maybe we will focus, at least the first one of the 3 forwards that we want, and then the other 2 maybe like the likes of Chelsea and West Ham. Chelsea, João Pedro, or maybe West Ham, the Bowen pick. So it depends on how you select your team, on how you manage your score budget overall.
Yeah, it's interesting. In terms of fixture ticker, I just read out to everyone. Sunderland on top, but we are not sure you're going to pick any Sunderland player, but they are playing West Ham, Burnley, Brentford, Crystal Palace, Villa, and Forest. we can touch about our strategy in terms of chips, but people are looking at, if you're getting those Burnley players, you could actually play bench boost in game week 2, where Burnley and Sunderland are facing each other. So those could be an option. Brentford at second, Forest, Villa, Sunderland somewhere there. Also Chelsea, Fulham, and Manchester United. So Chelsea and Manchester United in the 6th, but Brentford is a second ticker. Villa is someone that people are looking at. Newcastle at home, with Newcastle right now pretty much a lot of surrounding Isaac, and you're not sure whether who's going to play. But how we did mention, Isaac will not in the frame to play the first game week against Villa. So that will be nice for Villa team if they say that happens. So advantage for them: Newcastle, Brentford, Crystal Palace, Everton, Sunderland, Fulham. Really nice here. If you think about Watkins, Rogers, this could be an opportunity to get some points or goals there, and assist rate taking return. Forest also people are looking at, because they have some excellent fixture other than Arsenal in game week 4. Brentford, Crystal Palace, West Ham, Burnley, and Sunderland, 2 promoter side back to back in game week 5 and 6. Chelsea also people are looking at, and same as also West Ham, some decent matches. But if let's say you're going the bottom 3, Manchester United, Arsenal, and Newcastle, looking dire a bit because they are facing a lot of the top 6 club. United facing Arsenal, City, Chelsea. But people already talk about Bruno Fernandes could be one of the options at the early season. Arsenal, they face United, Liverpool, and then City and Newcastle in the 6th. So it's going to be tough. But we also option gave it to Leeds United at home, and then Newcastle, Villa, Liverpool, then face Arsenal in the first 6. Fixture ticker main, who are generally team to target?
You can see why Watkins is so interesting. Yeah, they play Newcastle, Brentford, Crystal Palace, Everton, Sunderland, Fulham, all quite useful matches. None of the teams are exactly keeping much clean sheets, although Everton still remains to be seen whether they can continue the defensive solidity that Moyes has been known for. Forest matchups is also not bad. In fact, they played 2 out of the 6 promoted teams in Burnley and Sunderland, although the last 2 but in between they also Brentford, West Ham, Crystal Palace, and the only real challenge could be the Arsenal match. The problem with Forest, of course, pre-season defensively, they continue to be quite strong, but goal threat almost non-existent. But the caveat here, we have seen this with Forest. The XG is down the drain, yet somehow they pop up and score. Yeah, so that's so it's really nothing that we shouldn't be using as a metric, in terms of the XGs, because their primary focus is defend, and then when we can, we'll score. I don't think the loss of Elanga has changed things that much. I think they still operate in the same way. And of course, the other team I want to point out is Chelsea. And I can see because so many of us have Palmer in our lineups. But so the fixture list looks quite decent as well. But but their first match is against a Palace who are motivated, coming off a huge win. So that might be the Palmer might not be so straightforward as we thought it would be. So,
I just want to add, Crystal Palace also kind of like bogey team for Chelsea. So Palace can deliver.
You would know, wouldn't you, Hafiz?
Yeah, that's why. So it means that I won't deter people who are thinking about getting Mateta Eze for this match, because with COVID right now is out for a while, and I'm not sure who's going to be the perfect solution on the centre back, so-called, where I can see from the last season match against Milan, Chalobah and also Tosin played at the centre back, but I'm not sure whether that's the best partnership that Maresca can think of. But there is some vulnerability there that I can see.
So Chalobah also got injured as well, apparently.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, but then apparently he said he's okay. He limped out of the match, but he claims he's okay, so we'll see.
Yeah, the team news will play an important role this week, definitely. So I go to Afosz next. Yep, fixture ticker. But maybe we can touch a bit in terms of because people are looking at bench boost chip as early as of this and playing in game week 1. Afosz, what do you think in terms of BB playing in game week 1 or early of the season, or is something that you should not think and just design your team as best as possible, as cheap as possible on your bench, and think of that BB later? Or what do you think, Afosz?
Okay. To be honest, I'm also not quite sure in terms of chip strategy or when to use it or whatnot. I'm seeing a lot of people trying to plan to use BB chip as early as game week 1 and then try to wildcard earlier, somewhere around I think game week 8 or whatnot, because it's a total game changer for FPL because we have a double chips throughout the season, the first half, and then the chips all return back in the second half. So like last time we just spend time on wildcarding after international break or maybe as late as possible, and then you try to save chips somewhere later at the end of the season, try to fully utilize it at double game weeks or maybe some other fixtures, good fixtures. But now you have two of them throughout the season, first half and second half. So I think, yeah, when we can have a nail starting players who might perform in each club, so I think that is why people try to force their PB chips. Game week 1 have tried to max out all the 15 players playing, and also I think game week 1 every season we have a good high scoring game week, if I'm not mistaken. So I think that's maybe one of the reason of people trying to eye using bench boost game week 1. So for me, for myself,
how about you thinking for yourself? Thinking whether you have some reservation to play.
I haven't decided yet, but I'm looking at the option to play. So yeah, we'll see how it is. At the moment, still 50-50.
Okay, fair. I don't think it's because I can see some experts also, they are so not sure whether to play bench boost, or there's some merits to play it because you can just, but I think the cons on it more to if you're uncertain in terms of players, because this is our first game week of the season. We are not sure who to play. We can just judge based on news and preseason, right? Min, what your thought?
It's tough. Honestly, I tried because when I first heard about the, you get double the chips. So the first thing in my head was, okay, let's bench boost, because I have never done a bench boost in game week 1. So okay, let's try to get a team so we can bench boost. But I think the problem with bench boost, well, I think maybe definitely myself and probably quite a few people out there, is that you fall into the trap of trying to really have a good team for everyone plays and great matchups in game week 1, but end up suffering long term, and which is why you see some teams out there acknowledging it and saying that they're going to bench boost and then followed by a wild card immediately, or maybe not in game week 2, but maybe in game week 4. For me, I just don't want that, because this start of the season there's still a lot of uncertainty. And the matches, there's no real extremely attractive matchup. None of the big sides are against the promoted sides. For example, you don't get Sunderland, Burnley, and who's the other guy?
Leeds.
Yeah, playing Liverpool or Arsenal or Manchester City. None of those. Yeah. So last season people did bench boost with good results. There's quite a few that I've seen who did well with a first week bench boost. But
I think Liverpool played the promoted side, right, last season, if I'm right.
Yes, they did. Yeah.
Yep.
So So was it Norwich? Might be Norwich, yeah. But
Yeah.
Norwich, is it? Okay, yeah. So so I just tried to find one which was comfortable playing and not having to wildcard so quickly along the line, and I couldn't get one side that was comfortable with. So when I first drafted my squad, it wasn't in the intention of bench boosting, but in the end I gave up. So I'm sure there are people who will do it better, but yeah, because I have my own biases, of course. But I just couldn't do it.
Okay.
What about you,
Interesting.
Hafiz?
Okay, I'm inclined to bench boost in Gameweek 1 because I just want to get rid of this chip as soon as possible and then concentrate on it. I really want to just do it and at least have a feeling. Are you playing BB on Gameweek 1? So how's the feeling? So if let's say next season FPL decided to continue this mechanics, right? Continue with double chip. So at least I know, oh, the feeling in BB1, how's it can really hit you or being really bad for you. So I want this experience. But I think when we see my team later, I construct my team to at least as cheap as possible to put your bench, but it's a playable one and try to take advantage of some of these matchup that can be good on paper at least, like the likes of West Ham, Everton against Leeds, and maybe who else? Sunderland playing West Ham, Leeds, Everton, and then Tottenham was playing at home against Burnley. There's potentially some good upset if you get the right player. I feel so. I'm 80% going to BB, and but there's 20% that I can look at. Some of the committee says you could BB in Gameweek 2 where you go cheap with Burnley players and then you play them when Burnley are playing at the home against Sunderland. So that could be a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, just to that Burnley Sunderland, is it really that great a matchup? It's two promoted sides, for crying out loud. Yeah, so I don't see why that's so attractive. You know, Burnley versus
No,
Sunderland.
you go cheap, you go Dubravka formula, you go Steve, right? Burnley defender formula, and then you just try your luck. You got
Just
a clean
try your
sheet,
luck.
fine. But you go cheap.
I just want to get this off my chest because ever since we had the bench boost and then when people were doing it for Gameweek 1, I've lived in the constant nightmare of bench boosting only to have everyone who didn't bench boost all score higher than me. so much it's such a horrible start and I just couldn't live with it. So yeah, so that's just me.
Right. There's no right or answer. I think people, if from the poll, I can see that 55% major are thinking to BB. So you just do it. But if you're going to keep it later in the season, I think you can do that and just see how the season pan out. Because free hit chip, triple captain chip, you still also need to think to play between 1 to 19. And people already talk about potentially free hitting in Gameweek 3, where Liverpool playing Arsenal. So then you just disperse your Liverpool asset or you're going for Arsenal asset, then concentrate on the other players, matchup, especially like United playing Burnley, Chelsea playing Fulham, so City playing Brighton, where you can mess out those players. I think that can also be a strategy. All right, enough on that. I think we'll go to our team later and then discuss. But before we go to Gameweek fixture, just take a look on the horizon. What are people are looking at in terms of ownership players? So at least we can just say, oh, this is what people are looking at. So in terms of goalkeeper, I can reveal to you, Kelleher was number 1 all this while, but today dia sudah potong. Dubravka is now the highest owned goalkeeper among FPL managers at 26.2%. No surprise because he's been priced at 4.0. He is expected to be number 1 at Burnley, or even though I have some skeptical on that. I'm not sure whether that's the story because I think the new keeper from Burnley, Perry, if I'm right, also have potentially to be the number 1 for Burnley. So watch this space. After that, second, Kelleher with 25%. He's yellow flag right now, but we see how his condition this weekend. Sells at number 3, 18.2. Price at 5 million. Then David Raya still popular, 17.7%. And then Sanchez from Chelsea. He's also a common goalkeeper that people are looking at. In terms of defenders, Wan-Bissaka is number one, 30.8%, 4.5 million, really cheap. Frimpong and Virgil van Dijk is the Liverpool defenders, number second and third, with 27 and 24%. They are not cheap, but as you know, Liverpool is one of the meanest defense in the Premier League. Konsa is Villa. You can see fixture ticker. Villa is also among the top, and then Nouri, another popular at 6 million. We just talk about the defense side first, goalkeeper and defenders. Afosz, goalkeeper defenders, which one attracts you? And you'll see that this is what the bandwagon should be.
Okay. In terms of goalkeeper, like any other seasons I've played FPL before, I don't really like to spend so much on goalkeepers, despite of how attractive they are. So one goalkeeper, of course, usually at price 4.0. Another one I try to look at maybe 4.5 or at most 5.0, because I'm not the type of person who like to rotate goalkeepers every week in and week out. So I try to have that fixed play goalkeeper, and it's nice to have a 4.0 playing goalkeeper as a backup, just in case, because otherwise, if my main goalkeeper gets injured, then I need to have my transfer to use for the to change for the goalkeeper. So at the moment, I'm on Dubravka. I kind of like Sanchez pick because of Chelsea's fixture, but we'll see how things go, because at the moment Chelsea is losing quite a number of the defenders. So another option is the what they call who's the Tottenham punya keeper again?
Vicario or Kingsley, is it?
No, sorry, bukan what they call Brighton.
Verbruggen. Okay.
Verbruggen at 4.5, but that one I still not so sure yet, depending on how I manage my budget overall. But at the moment, 4.0 Dubravka and Sanchez 5.0 is a nice pick for goalkeepers. And for defenders, yeah, we have Wan-Bissaka, who performs quite well last season at 4.5. I think he can be a good pick. Looking at the starting fixtures, West Ham have a good fixtures run. Liverpool, Frimpong, quite surprised because he has that high ownership, but that's just me. I'm not really studying to depth of how he plays. But Virgil, we know how Liverpool can perform defensively. So Virgil is a good pick because he's the captain of the team. Konsa 4.5 also one of the main defender for Villa, and Nouri, we know how he plays during his time in Wolves. So at the moment, I think I have one of them, if I'm not mistaken. One second. So yeah, I think that's about it for my thoughts on GK and defenders.
How about you, Min? In terms of goalkeeper defenders, which interests you from this ownership?
Yeah, well, with regards to Dubravka, I think Brandon just pointed out that Dubravka may not be available, and yeah, he didn't play. Yeah, even he still didn't play in the last preseason friendly, so there's questions as to whether he's gonna be playing. But the thing with Dubravka, I think for most teams, he's the second keeper anyway. Yeah, so they already have their first shot with themselves, with Sanchez, with the Kelleher, so it's not that big a deal. Dubravka is always but although it does play into what you mentioned just now, Hafiz, about game week, against Sunderland, bring in Dubravka, that kind of thing. But Kelleher, who might be injured because he picked a knock, but then there was confirmation by the Brentford manager that he should be ready for the start of the season. So no issue there.
Okay.
Right. So those two are obviously the starting keepers who are cheap, who are clearly cheap, and you know, a lot of the common strategy with the common strategy is that you don't spend a lot of money on goalkeepers, so it makes sense. But of course, and the problem now is that the best performing keeper from last season, who is Pickford, is 5.5 million now. So not exactly the best price point for those people. So rather than going Pickford, why not just go for Raya, you know, with a definitely with a better record overall. I like Cells myself. Yeah, I think that's Forest.
We have some sore spot, right? Last season.
Of the defensive. Yeah, although to be fair, Henderson may have reignited my previous love for him during the Community Shield. So let's see how it go. Yeah, your loss, of course. He was a menu player. Sorry.
Remind me, has been.
But on the
I
defender
like him
side,
too, you know.
oh yeah. You can't do that. It's just the bad timing, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So for defenders, just now you mentioned Frimpong. Yeah. So Arne Slot actually went into an interview saying that one of the way Frimpong is going to contribute is when Salah goes to AFCON. Frimpong is going to play up, you know, in Salah's position as a right winger. So it almost feels like Frimpong is almost gonna be a TAA 2.0 in a sense. That you know, he's gonna bring him in to play and in terms of attack. Now, I'm not gonna wax lyrical. That Frimpong goal yesterday wasn't intended. It didn't look like me. It was intended. It was a cross that just turned into a goal. Yes, Raka FPL, just pure luck, but hell, you know,
A goal is a goal.
It's
A goal is
so yeah, I'll take it. But what Slot says, it does make me interested. And previously I had Kirkes. I've now we'll see my team because I've now sold it. But we'll talk about that later.
Right.
But defenders, obviously the cheap one. But there's actually quite a few for useful 4.5 defenders as well, other than those that's mentioned here. So yeah.
Yep, great stuff. I think there's a lot of questions to goalkeeper defenders. You can easily pick any of those 5.0 million. If you don't want to go there, you could go for the 4.5. So I don't think there's something right or wrong. But from yesterday game, kind of like after that Frimpong goal, sees Frimpong now suddenly creeping into my mind. Could be one of the potential if you don't want to go the safe option, I can say, because Virgil van Dijk, if let's say counting the DC point, he could extra 22 points, something like that, if they count that. But Frimpong has potential attacking, which is nice. And you already look at the stats just now. He has like 2 attempts into 4 goals. So we shall see how they. So in terms of goalkeeper defenders, as option, there's some value also, whether you're going for 4.5 or even 6 million. So we go to the midfielder and forwards. Is there any surprises? Midfielder top 5, Mo Salah, no surprise. Cole Palmer, no surprise. Wirtz at number 3. So this means people are looking at that as potentially for Liverpool players double up in midfield. Wirtz at 33.6%. Then Kudus maybe at 6.5 million bracket. He could be the one. And then the Rogers from Villa at 7 million, 22.7%. So the top 5 midfielders that managers are owning right now. In terms of forward, am I surprised? João Pedro in number 1. Maybe there's some element from the Club World Cup that people are looking at, but João Pedro did score back-to-back preseason goals. I'm right, 52% owned by managers right now. Then Gyökeres from Arsenal, 9 million. He supposedly made a focal point for Arsenal right now and could be on penalty for Arsenal, 25%. Then I said, wow, surprise. I said still people are trying to get him in the team despite potentially he'll be out from Newcastle right now, 22%. And then Haaland, 21% only. So he could be a differentiator talking about getting Haaland into your team. And then Bowen, the top 5 forwards. So midfield forwards, Afosz, anyone surprises you or you feel this reflect the right ownership?
I think it reflects most of the time. Mostly it reflects the right ownership. The likes of, especially for midfielders, I think 50% for Salah and Palmer. I think it's a no-brainer for everyone. Salah is a keeper, and Palmer have good performing record, and Chelsea a nice fixture. But for forward, Gyökeres is maybe maybe quite surprises me, but of course we all have high hopes performing in Arsenal and in Premier League. But to me myself is still more to wait and see because he's new to the league. I would rather pick the one who's already familiar playing in Premier League rather than the ones who just joined, because other leagues are relatively different play style than EPL. So.
All right, I'll go to you, Min, in terms of midfielder and forwards.
Okay, midfielder, I find it cute that Kudus is there. It must be just because he's cheap. Because what did he do for West Ham last season? I can't even think. Got himself sent off twice, I think. Yeah, so you know, but they think that he'll do well better under Spurs. But at the same time, they've got a new guy coming in, and they still have Johnson who plays on the same preferred position. So you know, even though Kudus might get the start, you can't argue that he's gonna get his minutes curtailed, because we know Johnson has the eye for goal. You know, if they need a goal, Johnson will be the one who comes in, even if he doesn't start. So the thing with Salah and Palmer, I just took a look at the ownership, and now Palmer is actually top thanks to the Community Shield. Palmer is 56.0 and Salah is now 55.3%.
Lower.
So this is the knee-jerk reaction coming off the Community Shield, I guess. Salah being too wide again. Looking at the heat map. But Rogers great. But I do understand Afosz' argument about Wirtz, as in someone who's not yet proven in the league yet. Will he be able to handle the physicality, for instance, of some of the defenders? We don't know yet. So I can see the going for the safety of tried and trusted FPL assets who have been around. But in terms of the forwards, Pedro, the thing with Pedro is that when we picked him up for Brighton, we always want him to pick up. We always hope in the hope that he'll pick up penalties. And but of course in Chelsea he's not picking up penalties. But what I can say is that because he does have the tendency to help draw penalties, and Palmer is going to benefit from that, but Pedro's going to get the assist. And he's considered one of the cheaper, affordable forwards. The only problem with Pedro is how much time is he going to spend with D-Lab share.
They will share minutes.
Yeah, so we saw the last friendly. Pedro scored. He started and he scored. So it's never like, Pedro can't stop scoring. He's gonna get over. Then at the 60-odd minute, he gets substituted by D-Lab. D-Lab goes, "Hey, I want the spot," and he goes and scores 2 goals. So it's just going. So it just makes it hard, like what's Maresca gonna do, I do think that I honestly feel that Pedro still will start, but definitely that minutes is going to be shared. So you have to accept that risk if you take it. Everyone else, Haaland of 21.7. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. But the question with City is about will they be able to operate really well without KDB and currently without Rodri as well? Yeah, so it is a bit of a new look in some sense. So let's see how that goes.
All right. I think the João Pedro, I can say as a Chelsea fan, definitely he's going to share minutes with the Lab. And then if let's say he's suddenly continue and not scoring at juncture, Delap could come in the next game starts and then Pedro come in from the bench. So there will be continued conversation. But I think for a start, considering Joao Pedro scored in the preseason, I think he will start the lineup against AC Milan could reflect potentially the game one lineup. But you know, 70 odd minute, you can see when the scoreboard or the player scoreboard say, oh, who's going to sub in? The lab is definitely for Joao Pedro. So that will be the potential risk that we can have. But you could still go there and let's say Joao Pedro scored 1 or 2 goals in the first 60 minutes, then you're a happy man. All right. So those are the players ownership. I think let's go to the game week 1 fixture. We zoom in straight for that game. Who's playing who for game week 1? Friday deadline for sure. Liverpool versus Bournemouth. I can sense Azmin will wake up early this week to see that game, and we will also have Friday night deadline hopefully this weekend. Rain. So Liverpool versus Bournemouth, and then on Saturday we have Villa versus Newcastle. I think the preview we mentioned before this is where the Villa are going to have this revenge because Newcastle stole his Champions League spot and Villa lost to Manchester United at the last game of the season. So Villa is pretty hyped for this game. I said might miss this game against Villa. Then after that we have Brighton versus Fulham, and then Forest versus Brentford, Sunderland, the promoter side, playing at home in front of the crowd, entertaining West Ham United. Spurs are going to face Burnley at home with the new manager at the helm, Thomas Frank. Wolves facing Man City. Will this be a different Man City from last season? We shall know against Vitor Pereira's side. Chelsea versus Palace, London Derby on Sunday. And then we close out the big one, Manchester United, Arsenal, Ruben Amorim, and versus Mikel Arteta. A lot on. Both teams had a lot of news sign up. So I think we are looking forward to this game, and then close up with Monday night match, Leeds United against Everton. And if I'm right, Jack Grealish is bound to join Everton on loan. That's the latest news. So, main match week 1. What interests you? You're on mute.
Manchester City versus Wolves. You know, Wolves have had one of the worst preseasons. They barely score any goals, and they concede. Up against City, who they did play in the Club World Cup, but of course Wolves are playing at home. But you'd think that Wolves just not quite ready. I do feel that Pereira will get it right, but it won't be enough to stop City. And that's why my first draft didn't have any City players at all. But the more I look after seeing Wolves preseason and then City's squad, I felt that it's just too risky to not have any City players there. The other one, of course, is Spurs versus Burnley. But of course, you're looking at a bit of a revamped team in a sense. Yeah, because Son, our long-standing servant, Son Heung-min is now no longer with Spurs, and then you got Kudus who's come in as well. Solanke hasn't played in preseason yet.
Don't play that much.
Yeah, so that is the problem there. So well, all else fails that we end up looking to the defense. So we got Van der Ven, who hopefully can stay himself clear from injury at a very cheap 4.5. But now that Maddison is injured, that could mean that Pedro Porro is going to take most of that balls. So him at 5.5.
5.5.
And there was the match against, was it Newcastle, where he was also top in terms of DEFCON. So he might just be a great pick.
Good stuff. Afosz, I know you're looking forward United versus Arsenal, but what
yeah,
else interests you?
Sesko is
Yeah.
Sesko.
Okay.
I know if let's say Sesko and Goikarez meletup in this game, everyone going to scramble to find money for this player.
Yeah. Yeah. As a United fan, every season we tend to put our high hopes starting on the season. On paper, the team looks good. We have the front three: Sesko, Bemo, and Cunha, who we kind of wish that um, all of them are assisting one to another and scoring goals. But I'm kind of excited for the new team. Let's go Gyökeres in Arsenal. See how the team plays. But I think it's still a tough matchup between United and Arsenal. It might result in a draw, in a goalless draw, or maybe 2-2 draw. But other other games, I'm kind of expecting the likes of Liverpool and Manchester City to have a high scoring game because Liverpool versus Bournemouth already lost one of the defender Kirkes to Liverpool. Uh, so with all the new
They're going to miss
lineups,
another player going to PSG, right? Zabani, if I'm right, the
yep,
latest transfer.
Savani, yep, correct. So with the
So
likes
I
of
don't know who's going to
all
play
the
there.
new all the new signings for Liverpool, the like of Wirtz, Ekitike, and Frimpong, they wanted to prove themselves they are worthy to play in EPL. So I'm kind of expecting a high scoring game in this
Yep.
in this game, Liverpool versus Benoit, and also the other one City. We all know that City have really good attacking threats, especially now that Wolves also have a relatively poor preseason friendlies, and also Wolves lost one of their defenders to City, Ryan Ignori. So yeah, kind of expecting these two games to have high scoring games, but the rest of the game, I'm not sure. Spurs Burnley looks um, attractive, but I'm not sure who will be the main player to bring up the team as a talisman or maybe to score goals. Just I don't quite see it yet because I think Solanke is injured at the moment. Yeah, I think,
Injured. Yeah?
and also Chelsea and Palace also not as straightforward because like I think like you guys mentioned previously, Palace motivated and Chelsea also have a relatively good squad, but they also lost few defenders there. So yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'm looking forward to see the promoter side perform because they really shopping gila-gila for players. I can say that the Sunderlands, the Burnley, and also the Leeds are buying like the whole team again. So I just hope them the best because I think it's going to be a tough season for them. They are definitely already teams of relegation. They could be going back down there, but if they can perform in the likes at Sunderland, the home against West Ham, you just Burnley getting results away to Spurs or Leeds against Everton, then we are going into an interesting season for 25-26. All right, before we go to our team, take a quick look in terms of Captain P. I'm not sure whether I think this can be a conversation because prediction Mo Salah should be a top scorer highest for this game week 1, 8.2 based on Fantasy Football Hub members area prediction. Second is Cole Palmer at 7. Then Mr. Haaland 6.8 against Wolves away. Arsenal against United 6.2 and Watkins at 6.0 at home against Newcastle. Azmin, Mo Salah, no brainer captain pick.
Yeah, I've got him as captain. So, Community Shield notwithstanding, I'm still feel I don't see any reason not to captain Salah. There's also a big difference between Crystal Palace and Bournemouth. Crystal Palace, the team is pretty much settled. Bournemouth have lost almost the entire defense. Yeah, for Zabani to
Plus goalkeeper.
Kirkes and plus the keeper, and Kirkes is now on the Liverpool side. So when I picked up Kirkes at first, think, oh, he'll play against his former club and just mark it off with a goal. but I had to be realistic about it. But yeah, so these factors have not changed. The only thing that's changed is that Liverpool losing and Salah playing too wide and not contributing and missing a penalty in the Community Shield. But other than that, I'm not fast.
Okay.
I'll keep with Salah. Let's see how we go.
All right, Afosz, in terms of captain pick, is there any debate or second consideration?
So also on Salah for Gameweek 1. I think for the past season, Salah has not blanked Gameweek 1 or only once.
Yeah,
if I'm not
I
mistaken.
think so.
So
Brandon mentioned Haaland always start the season well. Last season, I think he's got hat-trick, is it?
yeah, last season, Haaland did quite well. The first 6 seasons.
So feels.
Yeah, Haaland can be a good captaincy pick.
But
Versus
if let's say you have Salah and Haaland in your team, Salah playing at home, Haaland away, so it's going to be tough unless you have no Salah and Haaland team. So Haaland is easy captain for you this week. If not, I think Salah is the right pick definitely.
Yeah, correct.
Right, let's go to our team. We're almost hitting a 1 hour and a half mark. Let's go to my team first. I'm thinking about bench boosting this week for game week 1. So as you can see, my team there in goal, Kelleher. We shall see how his condition this weekend. Wan Bissaka, Virgil van Dijk, and Milinkovic. VVD as the Liverpool asset. He could easily be Frimpong at 6 million. So I have that 6 million price bracket and a 5.5 million Milinkovic bracket. If you are going to change to other defenders like Poro, Munoz in forward, at least I have some players into 5.5. Wan Bissaka at 4.5 million. So Milinkovic, I just want to touch. He is the third best defender last season. After Guardiola number 1 and then TAA. But if let's say you take that DC points into consideration, Milinkovic will be number 1 in terms of defender if you just want to put that into context. All right, so who else in my defense? I have Van der Ven and Konza at 4.5 million, so I could rotate, but since I'm bench boosting, so Spurs playing at home against Burnley and then Villa playing at home against Sadler's side. So I suppose there's potential clean sheet there for Villa. Dubravka at 4 million. Just who knows, right? He rack up some save point. But if let's say he is not fit to play, I have to find another option. I get some money out from some other player and get Verbruggen, who can also potentially keeping a clean sheet against Fulham. So that's in terms of defense. In midfield, I have Ndiaye, Mo Salah, Rogers from Aston Villa, and then Palmer, and then I have Baleba at 5 million cheap midfield. I could go other 5 million option, but Brighton could be excellent. Another option is Papisa at Spurs. He on pre-season match, he already scored 3 goals, I think, something like that, and playing at home against Burnley. He could be a nice option, 5 million. Just I leave it there. Up front, I go for the top performer, Watkins. Maybe not so much. Why I'm picking Wood? Defied Forest, not the best thing in pre-season, but Wood still the main man. He's on penalty kicks for Forest. And as you all know, his XG might not be best, but if let's say he got one opportunity, he scored 1 goal, and that's it. I got 9 points or maybe 6 points. We shall see how Chris Wood is still the talisman for Nottingham Forest has excellent fixture in the first 6. And then Welbeck maybe as enabler at 6.5 million for Brighton. So I'm not sure whether he will play that side. This is something that I need to monitor. If not, I could slot in a West Ham option like Fulcrook at 6 million and save some money. But this is my team as for now. No money in the bank. Bench boost active, and for now I have Palmer as my captain. I'm going bias Chelsea this week against Palace, and then we shall see how it goes. So my team, main comment. You're mute.
Sorry, London Derby. You're captaining someone in a London Derby. What's going to happen there? So good luck with that. So I guess just now you mentioned if Dubravka isn't ready, then because he was captured only a few days ago. So if you pick a keeper, where are you gonna get the money from? Who are you most likely to sell?
I think maybe the one thing I can see there, I downgrade Milokovic 5.5 to Nico Williams, which also another popular pick among managers.
Okay. Because at the same time you also have Baliba, which I guess is for your DEFCON potential, I guess, with Baliba. I'm okay, I guess, with the team. I have Wood as well. One we sync up. Virgil. So you got for Virgil. I guess that's. Can I persuade you off Virgil? I think
Virgil, maybe Frimpong can be another option. Or if I'm really biased Chelsea, then I could go Cucurella, but I'm not sure yet.
I'm just not convinced he's gonna be contributing that many DEFCON points.
Okay.
I feel the midfield, Gravenberch and McAllister are gonna be doing more of that groundwork. So I would go for a more attacking player, a fullback lah. Coming back to the traditional.
Right.
Yeah. So, but. Okay. Yeah, Frimpong is the only one because Kirkes looks like he plays as a third centre back of that sometimes. So, yeah.
And he has competition against with Robertson still, yeah. And
true, Robertson is around. Bradley is around, but Bradley is injured at the moment, so which Frimpong and definitely helps scoring goals, of course. Yeah. Other than that, well, I don't like Ndiaye myself, but then. It's a cheap option, and he takes penalties. He's probably gonna take penalties. So, and the first.
I tell you what, if let's say Grealish potential starting, maybe could have an option. If not, I go for Kudus, another popular option.
Not Kudus, man. I'm sorry. I'd rather you just keep Ndiaye. Let's see what Kudus does. Yeah, because we also have to remember that Spurs also have a new manager. Yeah, so there's quite a few things. Of course, it's Thomas Frank who's going to be more attacking, but with Solanke also not around, I'm worried the attacking potential Solanke, for now. Yeah. So yeah, that's
all right.
That's it.
Afosz, you want to mention anything? Pretty tempted, right? Afosz.
Yeah, pretty tempted, but of course you can pick other players of based on your preference, but in terms of funds distribution is pretty much there. You can replace Virgil with other 6.0, maybe I know the Frimpong. And then you mentioned Milinkovic might want to downgrade should Dubravka not playing. So you're going to get another 4.5 keeper. But in overall, quite okay. But I'm still hoping or pretty comfortable to have at least 0.5 in the bank.
Okay.
Just in case. That's only my thought.
Okay. All right.
Are you not keen on Cucurella, Mr. Hafiz?
I can open to it, but the COVID injury that disrupt potentially if you want to keep any clean sheet, because I don't trust Chalobah and Tosin, to be frank.
Yeah, the problem there. And because I think a lot of people who already had Sanchez in their drafts now, they have already moved after Colwill got injured.
As you can see, I have only one Chelsea. Other players might have Joe Pedro up front. which is fighting with Chris Wood in terms of place 7.5 million. So in terms of my team, I do feel the Watkins, the Salah, the Palmer, and maybe the Kelleher, the Wan Bissaka is the nail one. The Virgil, I think 6 million bracket is there, but I'm not sure whether he could still be there, or Frimpong, or maybe Cucurella could be an option. All right, I think let's go to Azmin team if I'm right. Yep, the Sleepy Jedi's no chip activated if I'm right, and read out your team in.
Okay, first Sales. Okay, he's not going to be my vice captain. I probably put it on. Okay. So Milinkovic, Kirkes, Van der Ven, Wan Bissaka, Salah, Rogers, Wirtz, Cunha, Wood, and Joao Pedro. And bench has Sa, Evanilson, Arias, and the Kuiper. So I like Forest in terms of the defense. I think they're going to continue keeping me in clean sheet. I mentioned Van der Ven and also Wan Bissaka. I can tell you now that I have sold Kirkes and brought in Pedro Porro. Yeah, so I just feel that Pedro Porro is going to be massive. Then you have Salah, Rogers, Wirtz, Cunha, and I can tell you now that I have also sold Rogers and bought in the City midfielder. What's his name? Right.
The 5.5 million guy, right?
The root of reindeer, kan?
Yeah, reindeer. Yeah, reindeer. So and this is but of course, City doing okay, and but reindeer is affordable, and the fact that Wolves preseason looks dire, looks quite a shock at the moment. So I feel that not having a City player is too risky. So I've gone for Dyer. So obviously my biggest risk is Cunha, but I have been boosted by the fact that Sesko has come in, and I feel that Sesko is the best foil into play up front because Cunha can't play up front. He needs someone in front of him, and I think now that Sesko has come in, obviously maybe for this week is not going to may not be that great. I'm not sure. It is against Arsenal, but long term wise he's great. It's just a question of whether I keep him in the starting lineup or I bring someone in. I like Evan Nelson. I think he has great fixtures. It's just that the first week he plays Liverpool. Although technically speaking, it might be looking at Liverpool's defense. It might be possible to put him Evan Nelson instead of Cunha for game week 1. Who knows? But the problem is Cunha is playing at home though, so that's why he's got it. So the only other option with De Kuiper he plays Fulham. Fulham are missing their fullbacks and especially Antoine Robinson is not going to be ready. So he might be a good option there.
If I'm right, he scored in the preseason.
Yes, he's quite hot in preseason as well. So I may play De Kuiper instead of Wan Bissaka, maybe. I don't know. So we'll see.
Yeah. Right. I think your team is good. This is definitely Azmin type, okay? Because you go with him. And Cunha, definitely, there's some sentimental thing from last season. I know it's Cunha, right? So, but I kind of like that because there's not a lot of people are doing it. We if let's say if possible we move away from this template and just pick because there is some excellent value from this player. We just don't know, and we if possible we want to be the first one to catch this value. All right, let's go to Afosz team. You have 0.5 million in the bank. Wow, bagus. And no chips play for this week, right, Afosz? So talk to you about your team.
Okay, for goalkeeper, I picked Verbruggen and Kinski. Got Kinski at 4.0, mostly picked Dubravka, but my argument is that should Gameweek start and Dubravka is not going to be their main goalkeeper, the ownership or the price going to drop quite significantly, and his price going to drop to 3.9 by Gameweek 2, Gameweek 3. So I try to avoid that. So I just pick another 4.0 goalkeeper. So in terms of defender, I have Vardio, Tarkowski, Wan-Bissaka, Konsa, and Esteve. So Vardio at 6.0, okay, we can pick plenty at that price point. Virgil, Frimpong, Ait Nuri, and Tarkowski at 5.5 if I'm not mistaken. So
5.5, yeah.
I'm considering changing Tarkowski to Pedro Porro, looking at how Spurs line up and how Porro's gonna play. So that's an option. Others like Konsa and Wan-Bissaka is most likely to be nailed in my team. Same, I think he's nailed starting um, for for Burnley at 4.0. I think he's a good pick uh, for for the fifth defender, or maybe in terms of rotation wise, should one of the week that other defenders have tough fixture, and should Burnley have good fixture, he can also be played as the main squad. So in terms of midfielders, I go with the three premium: Salah, Palmer, and Bruno Fernandes. All these the talisman of each of their own team, provided assists, take penalty spots. Um, and the other two is Ndiaye and Divini. Ndiaye is I think one of the game he plays top as a top striker, and also he's one of the cheapest cheap midfielders who takes penalty. So at 6.5, I think he's a good pick. Also, I'm considering the City mid uh, ranges. So
Same like Azmin lah, 5.5. Okay.
yeah, same like Azmin, but I'm not sure whether I might keep Ndiaye, but to upgrade definitely to that City midfielder, but I need to downgrade elsewhere. So we'll see how things goes from there. So, but even so, I will need to change my formation from 3-4-3 to 3-5-2 to be able to play all the five midfielders. So for forward, at this point, I have Solanke, but Solanke is now injured. I might change him to
Confirm
somebody
injured.
else.
Confirm injured.
His flag yellow in
Okay.
the
So the team news will make a difference.
yeah. And then Welbeck and Wisa also quite not sure. A lot of people avoid to have Wisa because of his transfer rumors to Newcastle. Is it?
Yep,
So
supposedly.
a lot of people choose to have Thiago instead and save 1.5.
6 million.
Yep. 1.5 to be spent elsewhere. But these are the first draft for my team. But at the moment, I'm considering to have forward Watkins as my priority, and the other two maybe one third forward 4.5 played at the bench, and the second one still not quite sure. It's either maybe Bowen or that 7.5 punya forward. But we still got time for a few more days to play with the budget. But at the moment, the fund distribution is more or less like this. And I try to keep 0.5 in the bank just in case moving forward there's some price changes of any new assets or new players that might be in my team later on.
I think Solanke Visa, I just need to careful, see whether what were the pressure from the managers this week. I think most likely Visa won't play, so we shall see. Solanke, I'm not sure whether if he's fit, then you can go there. If not, I think another option, Richarlison, people already forgot him, right? 6.5 million, who knows, right? But you can go Watkins. I like Guardiola pick. I don't think a lot of managers are looking at him. So if you're comfortable with him, you just go with him. I like that. I just pick himself. That's all. Kinski is something to watch out. If let's say Thomas Frank declare in the presser, Kinski will be my number one, everyone will go to Kinski and no more Dubravka. I can tell you that. Min, your comment?
Yeah, we saw. Looks like he's going to join to Newcastle, but we don't know when.
That's right.
The Newcastle against Villa, but then don't know whether he'll be thrown into the right and immediately. But it's not bad, you know. The only thing is playing away. So Solanke, we'll find out on Wednesday because they do play PSG for the Super Cup. Yeah, so we'll see whether Solanke, if Solanke is there on the bench and comes in as a sub at 7.5, he's not bad, you know. He's quite an option, but of course, midweek exertions will not help lah. So I'm because I'm concerned about my double Spurs defense. So
okay,
because PSG could wipe the floor with them. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, we'll find out on Wednesday night. With the Solanke is ready. Otherwise, if it is, then I'd be tempted as well. For I know, maybe for Pedro, get for Solanke instead. Why not? Looking at your bench, Esteve comes up quite a bit. So yeah, I think. Yeah. I do like that Guardiola pick. You know, he's pretty much not being looked at because of other options and City. Not being favored in terms of that, you know, in terms of the DEFCON, I guess.
Yeah.
But
berapa ownership Afosz have you seen Guardiola? I think it's low own, right? Even check it out.
Guardiola is
Lower than 15?
17.1 actually, quite a bit.
17.1.
Oh, okay, right. So adalah manager juga.
Yep.
Okay. Fair. I think that's all from us for Gameweek 1 preview. Thank you all for joining. This session has been fruitful one, especially to Azmin and Afosz for being kupasan all these topics for Gameweek 1. We take some question here. I know we miss out some of the question here. Just comparing, I like that question. Gyökeres or Watkins? I think this is a nice question to have. Both at 9 million. If you have one priority, who you should go first? Azmin?
This is very tough. I'd go for Gyökeres because of Zubimendi. I think Zubimendi is really going to make a difference to the Arsenal midfield. So I'll pick up Gyökeres.
Okay, Afosz, you go with who?
I might go with Watkins because he's proven in FPL.
Tried and tested.
True.
Yeah, every season Watkins is actually under the radar most of the time, but in the end he's got a lot of points. So
no, he's under the radar because he doesn't take penalties, but somehow he manages to score anyway. Yeah. So yeah.
I think Gyökeres might not settle in straight away because Harvard is still there and potentially they need. But if Gyökeres confirm have the penalty over Saka, he will definitely a concession somewhere around the season. Wirtz or Bruno? I know Bruno proven. Wirtz ni 8.5, 9 million. If you have one slot, who would it be? I think I know if I ask both of you guys because Afosz has Bruno in his team. And probably Azmin also have Wirtz. It's interesting because it's the early off season. I think potential Wirtz is there, but Bruno is someone people already know and test. And what do you think?
Hafiz, which one?
For me now, if I make a choice, I think I'll go Wirtz first. 8.5 million cheaper and there is some upside. I just want to test that market. That's me.
Yep.
All right. Sanchez or Sales? I think it's going to be a close one. I mean,
Sales.
yeah, I'll pick Sales too.
All right. I think that's all.
Chelsea punya defenders punya status.
Okay, great stuff. Thank you all for joining the session. Hope to see you again. Probably we are going to live for the deadline Friday, this Friday, and we shall see you again. Azmin, your last word?
Okay, as per what you said, Hafiz, team news is very, very important for this week. You really want to get an idea because you don't want to miss out on team news, only find out someone picked up a late injury and he's out for 3 months. That just ravages your team. So be careful of that. There are like the Super Cup, for example. Be wary of anything going on in midweek as well. And also what mentioned there, because transfers are still happening as well. So you need to be aware, because you don't want fielding and then suddenly he's not playing because he's being courted by a player, and if the manager feels that it's in his best interest that he doesn't play. Sorry for the very long last word.
All right, Afosz, your last word?
Okay, try to set up your team as early as possible, maybe 80% fix, and then try to make that arrangement accordingly, because it's an early kickoff. People might overlook that. Liverpool versus Bournemouth at 3 a.m. early Saturday.
3 a.m.
So,
Okay, right.
yeah. So try to set up your team early and look out for the team news as well.
Thanks,
Right,
Afosz.
thank you.
Thanks for the reminder.
Right, thanks. And I think that's wrap up our stream. We are excited to be back for Game Week 1. This is it. The season is starting, 25-26. And to all who are thinking about bench boosting, join me and let's go and try to pick the best players for this game week. Until then, see you again. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All the best.